Hey, what's going on guys? My name is KarQ and welcome to the Predator training room for Overwatch. If you play the competitive game mode, you may have heard teammates call for a reset after losing a team fight. So today, we're going to talk about what that means and the implications of not resetting properly. To begin, a reset in Overwatch is a general term that can be broken down as a hard reset and a soft reset, depending on your team composition. If a teammate in the voice chat calls for a hard reset, this is where all players on the team must find the fastest route back to your spawn in order to group up with the team for the next push. You'll typically see this called out to the surviving players of a losing team fight, in which the fastest route to regroup is to either back up, let the enemy kill you as well, or go for a tactical suicide. We'll touch on these in a moment. Conversely, a soft reset is similar in every aspect to a hard reset, with the exception that a few specific heroes don't have to necessarily regroup because they are already staged in a position that complements their kit. An example would be a Widowmaker that was already perched up in a great angle, or a Tracer that quietly snuck behind the enemy lines. Teams will call for a soft reset in these scenarios to instruct the majority of their team to group up for a push in one angle, but have those outliers strike from another, creating more space and pressure. Now you may be thinking to yourself that reset basically means just group up team, so why wouldn't you just say that instead? Well, a simple let's group up team is a very general call out, but calling for a reset specifically has a few layers of depth. If we go back to our definition of it, an important piece I want to highlight is that a reset is often called after a losing team fight, and thus there are a few more ways to do this effectively as highlighted here, along with some implications. Let's go over them now. The first method of quickly resetting with your team is to simply back up if possible. Retreat to an area that is considered a safe zone, which is an area that your team has control of the space within it, typically your spawn. Heroes with natural mobility such as Tracer, D.Va, or Lucio will find it relatively easy to do this. If retreating for a reset isn't possible, the next option is to simply let the enemy kill you, but with two conditions. The first is that you should fight back so long as you don't already have your ultimate available. However, if your team has lost the fight and is calling for a reset and you're still alive and have your ultimate available, just simply walk up to the enemies and let them kill you. Do not deal any damage back to them because there are no more benefits at this point. You would simply just be feeding their support's ultimate charge, as they will heal back all the insignificant damage that you dealt right before dying, and it will negatively affect your team's ultimate economy. The last method of resetting is called a tactical suicide. Depending on the map, this option isn't always available because this is where you would simply jump off. This is one of the best options because 1, you will start your death timer immediately and be back with your team in about 10 seconds, and 2, you don't allow the enemy to finish you off, thus preventing them from earning any ultimate charge by killing you. You have to be careful though, because enemies with movement disrupting abilities such as Lucio or Pharah Boop, Rhine Swing, and more will have your tactical suicide count as a full elimination, and any amount of health you had will be converted as ultimate charge for them. So what exactly happens when you don't reset properly? Now you may have heard this term commonly thrown around in your games, but if you don't reset as quickly as possible, you're doing something called staggering. This is where you live for a few extra seconds and ultimately die anyways. What this does is force a, staggered respawn time compared to the rest of your team, taking extra time off the clock and slowing down your reset since the entire team is forced to wait for you, hence the name. You don't want to stagger yourself by any means possible, but on the flip side, trying your best to stagger an enemy is a game strategy that is both viable and very common. For example, if the enemy baby D.Va is the last alive and trying to jump off the map, what typically happens is teams will call to stagger her, in which everybody tries their best to delay her death by either sleeping her without a sleep dart or surrounding her to prevent her from jumping off.
That is actually one of the worst blocks I've ever seen.
I think that is actually the longest D.Va stagger I may have ever seen. There's been a couple
them, but if something else is required of them, they can talk and think effectively on the fly about what to do.
What a nasty delay there.
The takeaway point from this video is that in order to hard or soft reset in Overwatch, you need to die as quickly as possible using the methods we outlined earlier to prevent yourself from staggering. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. My name is KarQ with the Predator Training Room. Until next time.